There's been a last-minute rush on car purchases in a race to beat the government's new fees on higher emission vehicles. Vehicle sales hit an all-time high last month with more than 21,000 registrations. Here to explain is Motor Industry Association CEO David Crawford. David, good morning to you.
Good morning.
So the top three vehicles registered, new registrations last month, were all utes. And I can only presume that they're trying to avoid the so-called ute tax, which came in on the 1st of April. Can you put that into perspective for us? Is that common, that all those three spots would be taken out by utes?
It's not uncommon, although in the last couple of years that there have been SUVs have been creeping into the top three. What's unusual is the volume that sold in March. It was 7,800 utes were sold, which is over twice the number that would normally sell in 1 month. And that's because people were rushing to purchase their utes before the fees under the Clean Car Discount come into effect, which they did on the 1st of April.
So are the Clean Car fees actually going to achieve anything when the purpose of it was to try and deter people from buying utes? But there'll certainly be a slowdown now, but we've seen this huge rush on utes. So is it going to have any impact?
It will have an impact. There's always some unusual market behaviour around when a tax or a rebate come into effect. The other thing that we have seen is an uptake in electric vehicles. So there were 1,700 pure electric vehicles sold in March, which is quite strong. And we do know that the rebates we'll see in April, we'll see a lot more SUVs and other vehicles that are low efficient vehicles with hybrids or plug-in hybrids. We expect an uptake of those.
Right.
And we expect to see a reduction in the number of utes in the next few months, and then a correction to the market as people get used to figuring out what are best value buys for the purpose for which they want to use their vehicles.
And is there, in terms of purpose, utes do serve a purpose, particularly in rural communities and for tradies. Are there any alternatives on the market available right now that are full electric?
Very few. We expect to see these come on board increasingly in the next 2, 3, 4 years, but at the moment there are not a lot of options, to be honest.
And in terms of price point, are they super expensive or are they comparable?
No, they will be at the higher end of the price point, and that's one of the challenges with electric vehicles is they are more expensive than their internal combustion engine counterparts. And as a consequence, that's why the Minister has brought in the feedback scheme, as we call it, the discounts to try and address the lack of affordability with some of these options.
Let's look at the number 4 car, which was the Tesla Model 3. I mean, it's no wonder that Elon Musk has overtaken George Bezos as the most wealthy man in the world today. This is quite in demand, isn't it? Is it indicative of a demand for electric vehicles overall, or is this just seen as an electric vehicle that's a kind of luxury brand but more affordable? Relatively affordable. Still, a lot of people can't.
It is a reflection of the interest in electric vehicles, and with higher fuel prices, we have seen as an industry a demand for low emission vehicles go through the roof. And the problem is that we can't get them here quickly enough, and there's a worldwide demand for them that far exceeds the supply. But interest for them is strong and growing stronger.
Right, Motor Industry Association CEO David Crawford. David, thank you very much for being with us this morning.